Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday from Naples Zoo at Caribbean Gardens. I'm Danielle Green, the Director of Gardens and Grounds here at the zoo, and so I'm so excited to have you guys joining us here today. While we may be closed to guests, we have lots of other guests here in the zoo today that I'm hoping to share with you. So come on along. We're at our backyard habitat, or butterfly garden, here at the zoo. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a tour and share with you all of the exciting things that are going on. In this particular shot right now, we're not seeing our birds, bees, and butterflies, but I can assure you all over this garden area that I'm standing next to, we've got zebra longwing butterflies, we've got Atala butterflies, we've got honeybees that are visiting our Sephora right there, Sephora tomentosa, our necklace pod, which is a great native plant for your garden as well as ours here at the zoo. But this time of year, as you've probably noticed, we're really dry. Collier County right now is down about 2.5 inches of rain for the season. It is the dry season. We don't get a lot of rain typically this time of year, but we do get some. So we're doing a lot of hand watering this time of year. So we'll go over that in a little bit, but for now I want to just kind of show you guys some things that perhaps you can put in your garden if you don't already have them to attract wildlife. And when I say wildlife, I'm referring to not only birds, bees, and butterflies, but also some of your smaller animals, smaller insects. I'm sure you guys know what a pollinator is and how important they are. So what we do is, in a backyard habitat or butterfly garden, we plant plants that provide that pollen and nectar source, and in some cases host plants for the adult butterflies to lay their eggs and then turn into caterpillars, give the caterpillars something to eat so that they can form a chrysalis and then turn into a brand new butterfly. So this here is called Kufea. This is very popular plant, grows really well in our climate here. You see these tubular shaped flowers here, and that gives hummingbirds a really good opportunity to get in there, as well as many of our butterfly species. They love the nectar that this plant provides for them. Another one here is called Leonotis, or lion flower. Very cool kind of shape here. These are kind of at the end of their life, these are, and then these new blooms are getting ready to come out here. Orange flower, kind of a different texture for your garden. Generally goes kind of upright. Most of these plants you'll find are growing in full sun. If you're getting some shade midday or in the afternoon, that's okay as well. But they prefer at least 4 to 5 really good hours of bright sunshine. Jatropha, this is a really popular one that we see a lot in our area here in South Florida. But for anyone that's watching up north, or maybe in the Midwest, once we get past our fear of frost, you guys can put these outside. You can have these in containers and then either pull them inside, or if you have a greenhouse space, donate them to maybe your local zoo or botanic garden that could overwinter them there. But Jatropha is a really popular pollinator plant. These beautiful kind of reddish magenta colored flowers. You'll see birds, more so butterflies and bees, visiting these guys all during the season. Walking around a little bit more, scorpion tail. It's a nice little white flower here. Teeny tiny flowers, but if you get close enough, you can kind of see where honeybees can get in there. Some of your smaller butterfly species can get in there. Pentas come in a lot of different colors. Here we have a white. We also have a pink variety, a magenta variety. If you're following us on Facebook or Instagram, no doubt you'll have seen our jade, the Jade Vine, one of many people's favorite plant this time of year. It's kind of towards the end of its bloom cycle, but we're seeing a lot of honeybees visiting right now. What makes this flower really cool, other than its color, is when a pollinator comes in and goes to feed out of the nectar that's currently right there, what happens is this flower hinges and then ends up touching the back side of the insect. Ooh, there's a little honeybee right there. Ends up touching the back side and then deposits pollen. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning, honeybee. We love providing a lot of nectar sources for the honeybees here at the zoo. So not only do you can come to the zoo to see lions and tigers and bears, of course, but lots of different pollinators and insects. Looking at our gardens here at the zoo, we have plants that are brand new and plants that are upwards of over 100 years old, which is really exciting. We're very lucky to be one of the oldest gardens in Naples and very proud of that. Another awesome plant that belongs in every garden is, of course, wild coffee. Secotria nervosa. You can see an Atala butterfly up there. These guys love kuntis, or your Florida native cycad. We're seeing a lot of these guys this time of year. It's very, very exciting. They also love our saw palmetto or Serenoa repens. Yeah, that's a great shot of that guy right there. But yeah, wild coffee. You can see this is a rather tall one. It does get some red fruit on it later on in the year. It is not the kind of coffee that we drink, but it is a native wild coffee. You can find this all over the place, local garden centers, et cetera, et cetera. Not super fussy about where it is planted, but does really, really well here, and is a favorite of many of our local pollinators. So you can't go wrong with this one at all. Another awesome pollinator plant we've got here, this is called Malocchio or Malocchio, native to the Caribbean. You see this a lot down in the islands. Beautiful kind of pinkish purple flower there. You see our zebra longwing visiting back in there, but this really kind of rough looking gray-green foliage just adds a really awesome texture. Again, super easy to grow. Like sun, partial shade, pretty easy to find. Got quite a few over here by our pond area. Yeah, we sure do miss you guys having you out here at the zoo, but all of our animal residents, our insect residents, our plant residents are all keeping us company, and I'm so glad that we're able to use this type of format to share it with you guys today.
We do have a question from Susan. Where can you get wild coffee to plant in your yard, and can you grow actual coffee from it?
Great question, Susan. So any local garden center, even like your Home Depot, Lowe's, as well as some of the other local mom and pop garden centers, you should be able to find wild coffee in a 1 gallon or 3 gallon size plant, which will plant out, anywhere between 1 foot by 1 foot, even up to 3 foot by 3 foot. Not super expensive. And as far as real coffee, that is a completely different species that is not native to Florida. So the berries or the fruit that you would get off of our wild coffee is not the kind of coffee that you can brew to drink. That's coffee Arabica, which we do have in another area of the zoo, which perhaps we can show you guys another day. Yep, someone just mentioned you could hear the gibbons calling out on the islands. Got our pond. So we talked a little bit about it being dry. I want to show you guys a little bit about watering. That's mainly what our horticulture team is doing this time of year. We don't have irrigation in a lot of parts of the zoo, so we do a lot of hand watering. And you might think, oh gosh, that's a lot of work. And it is a lot of work, but I kind of prefer it for a couple of different reasons. One is it allows me to spend a little bit more time in the garden, which there's never anything wrong with that. The other thing is by hand watering, you get to get up close and personal with a lot of the plant material. So if I'm scouting for any sort of insect or disease problem, or just want to check on all of my babes and see how everybody's going, it's a chance for me to do that up close and personal. Whereas if I had a sprinkler system, I wouldn't necessarily be checking on them as closely. So I look at it as an opportunity to really investigate what's going on with my plants. So, little ones, if you want to get out and help mom and dad in the garden, everybody's kind of cooped up in the house. There's only so many puzzles and so many, internet shows we can watch. Getting out into the garden is one of the most amazing things. Fresh air, sunshine, get in touch with nature. Plants are amazing organisms, and they can really be a lot of fun to learn. But if we're going to be hand watering, got my water wand here. One of the best tools you can have, hands down. Not super expensive. We have a shut-off valve right here. That just means if I need to step away from what I'm doing for a minute, I can just shut that water off. So we see it now. We always want to water right at the base of the plant. Watering up here doesn't really do us any good. We want to get it right down here at the base where the roots are. That's what needs the water. But if I have to step away, I'm going to turn that shut off, and then I can set that down and then step away without worried about wasting water, having it run off somewhere that we don't need it. So a really great tool there. Again, kids, you can help mom and dad by getting out into the garden. Hey, if you have an irrigation system, turn it off. Get out there. Everybody's got a hose. Beaches are closed, so you could also use that as a little bit of irrigation for ourselves as well. So just get out in the garden and have fun with it. I'm really happy that we were able to share quite a few of our things with you here today. But the horticulture team is excited to be here, making sure that the plants are taken care of just like our animals. I think we have another question.
We do, from Piper, who's 10. She wants to know, what's your favorite flower?
Oh, good question, Piper. Let's see. That is a tough choice. My favorite flower is going to have to be one that's called a shaving brush. They're not blooming right now, but I bet if you looked it up, because I bet you're probably pretty savvy on the internet, but it's called Pseudobombax ellipticum. Isn't that a fun name? Or shaving brush tree. It has a white flower or a hot pink flower, and it literally looks like an old-timey shaving brush. So look that one up. That's one of my favorite flowers.
Awesome. And then do you want to show what it would take to get certified for a backyard habitat?
So this particular garden, we call it the butterfly garden or the backyard habitat, is actually a certified backyard habitat through the National Wildlife Federation. So this is a national program. You can do this at your school, you can do this at your home, you can do this in your community as well. So you'll go to, just Google National Wildlife Federation certified backyard habitat. You'll need to make sure that you provide these 4 elements. Food could be berries, fruit, that sort of thing. Water, that could be a shallow dish or a bird bath that is present in the garden. Any place that can collect water. Doesn't need to be super deep. And again, I know we've had some questions about, does that attract mosquitoes? Not necessarily, you just need to kind of keep it clean. Cover could be anything from our toad abode, that's always fun, which is just an upside down terracotta pot that has a little bit of a hole in it. It could be some sticks or some logs that have just a place where an animal could raise young. It could be a lizard, could be a skink, could be a squirrel, could be a bird, who knows. And then again, cover could also be any of the plant material. There's no specific plants that you are required to have, but lots of plants for backyard habitats can have multiple functions as well. There's a lot of good information. There's links on our website at napleszoo.org, as well as National Wildlife Federation or Certified Backyard Habitat. Any of those sites would give you a ton of information about making one of these backyard habitats in your own garden. All right, guys, I really appreciate you joining me today. We're going to be doing these Facebook Live events at the zoo for the foreseeable future. I think we've got one almost every day. But tune in. I'm really happy that you joined us, and we'll see you next time.